The casting director looked at Robin Williams and said, "You're too weird for family television." It was 1977. Happy Days needed an alien for one episode. They'd seen 50 actors doing safe, predictable alien voices. Then Robin walked in. Manic energy, strange eyes, wrong vibe for ABC primetime. Garry Marshall handed him the script. Robin glanced at it for 10 seconds, put it down, and said, "I'm just going to try something." Then he sat in the chair upside down. He started speaking in gibberish that somehow made perfect sense. He used the furniture, his alien technology, the walls as his spaceship's control panel. For 4 minutes, he never stopped moving, never broke character, never repeated a single joke. The producers stopped their side conversations mid-sentence. Complete silence. Then Garry Marshall stood up and said 7 words that changed television history. Forget one episode. Build a series. That audition created Mork Mindy, made Robin Williams a household name overnight, and proved that the weirdest person in the room might be exactly what the world needs. But to understand what happened in that audition room, you need to understand where Robin Williams was 6 months before. He was nobody. A 25-year-old stand-up comedian performing in San Francisco dive bars for audiences of maybe 30 people on a good night. His home club was the Holy City Zoo, a tiny venue that held 78 people maximum. The stage was barely 6 feet wide. The pay was $50 a night, sometimes less. Robin was sharing a 1-bedroom apartment with 2 other comedians, sleeping on a mattress on the floor, eating ramen noodles for every meal.
And he was bombing. Not every night, but enough to make him question everything. His comedy was too weird, too fast, too manic for most crowds. He'd go on stage and do 47 different character voices in a 15-minute set. Audiences would sit there, confused, not sure if they should laugh or call a doctor. Club owners would pull him aside after shows and say, "Maybe tone it down. Do more observational stuff. Stop with the voices." But Robin couldn't tone it down. The voices, the characters, the manic energy, that was who he was. If he toned it down, he wasn't performing anymore. He was just pretending to be a normal comedian.
His agent at the time, a woman named Joni, believed in him despite the constant rejection. She'd send him to auditions for commercials, sitcoms, anything that paid. Robin would show up, do his thing, and casting directors would literally stop him mid-sentence. "Thanks, we'll call you." They never called. One director told him straight to his face, "You're very talented, but you're not television material. Too unpredictable. Networks need safe." Robin went home that night and told his roommate, "Maybe I should just quit, move back to Detroit, get a normal job." His roommate said, "You'd die at a normal job. You're not built for normal." Robin knew he was right, but knowing that didn't pay rent. By September 1977, Robin was 3 months behind on his share of the rent, borrowing money from friends, seriously considering giving up comedy altogether. Then Joni called. "I got you an audition. Happy Days. They need an alien for 1 episode. It's probably nothing, but you should go." Robin almost said no. Happy Days was the biggest show on television. The Fonz was a cultural icon. What were the chances they'd cast a nobody from San Francisco? But Joni insisted, "Just go. What do you have to lose?" So on a Tuesday afternoon in September, Robin drove his beat-up Toyota to the Paramount lot in Hollywood. The security guard at the gate looked at him like he was lost. Robin showed his audition pass. The guard waved him through with a skeptical look that said, "You're not getting this part, kid." The waiting room outside the casting office was packed. Robin counted 12 other actors, all waiting for the same alien role. They all looked the part. Tall, thin, angular faces, the kind of guys who'd played sci-fi characters before. Robin looked at himself in the reflection of the water cooler. Short, stocky, manic eyes. He didn't look like an alien. He looked like a guy who should be selling used cars. For 3 hours, Robin watched actor after actor go into the casting room. They'd be in there for maybe 10 minutes, then come out looking deflated. One guy walked out and muttered, "They're not interested in creativity. They want safe." Another actor came out and said, "Don't bother. They've already decided who they want.
By 4 p.m., Robin was ready to leave. This was pointless. But then the door opened, and the casting director, a woman named Marcia, called his name. Robin Williams. She looked at her clipboard like she was checking if the name was even spelled right.
Robin stood up. Marcia looked him up and down. Her expression said everything. Wrong height, wrong look, wrong energy. But she held the door open anyway. Come on in. The room was bigger than Robin expected. There were 8 people sitting behind a long table. Garry Marshall sat in the middle, the man who'd created Happy Days, Laverne and Shirley, the king of family television. To his left and right were producers, writers, and network executives from ABC. They all looked exhausted. They'd been sitting in this room for 6 hours, watching actor after actor do the same predictable alien shtick. Garry Marshall looked up when Robin walked in. His first expression was confusion. "You're Robin Williams?" He glanced at a headshot on the table. "The stand-up from San Francisco?"
"Yes, sir," Robin said. His voice came out higher than he intended. Nervous.
Marshall leaned back in his chair. "Marcia says you're very talented, but—" He paused, choosing his words carefully. "A little unconventional for family television."
Robin felt his stomach drop. This was the polite version of "you're too weird." He'd heard it 100 times. He should have just left. But something in Marshall's tone wasn't dismissive. It was curious. One of the producers, a man in a suit who'd been on his 3rd cup of coffee, leaned forward and said bluntly, "We've seen 50 people today. They all did the same thing. High-pitched voice, robotic movements, the usual alien crap. Can you do something different, or are you just going to waste our time too?" Marshall shot the producer a look, but didn't contradict him. He turned to Robin. "The character is Mork. He's an alien from the planet Orc who comes to Earth to observe human behavior. He doesn't understand our customs. 1 episode. That's all we're casting for." Marshall handed Robin a script. "Take a minute. Look it over." Robin took the script. His hands were shaking slightly. He scanned the first page. Standard sitcom format. Mork arrives, says something about Earth being strange, does a physical comedy bit. Safe. Predictable. Exactly what those other 50 actors had probably done. Robin looked up at the table of exhausted producers. They were already having side conversations, barely paying attention to him. One producer was reading Variety, another was checking his watch. They'd already decided he wasn't going to get this part. He was just another name on a list they had to get through. And something clicked in Robin's brain. He'd spent 6 months auditioning the right way, playing it safe, trying to fit into what casting directors wanted, and it had gotten him nowhere. He was broke, behind on rent, 1 bad month away from quitting comedy forever. What did he have to lose by just being himself? Robin put the script down on the table. Garry Marshall looked up. "You ready?" "I'm just going to try something," Robin said. Before anyone could respond, Robin walked over to the chair that had been set up for the audition, turned it completely upside down, and sat on it. His legs were up in the air, his head near the ground. The producers stopped their conversations. Everyone stared. Robin started speaking, but not in English. It was gibberish, sounds that had the rhythm and intonation of language, but weren't actual words. Shazbot, Nanu Nanu, Earth beings. But the way he said it, the emotion behind it, somehow communicated exactly what he meant. Confusion, wonder, alien perspective. Then he started moving. Still upside down in the chair, he reached out and grabbed the desk lamp like it was alive. He spoke to it in gibberish, as if the lamp was an earth creature he was trying to communicate with. He touched the desk, the wall, the water pitcher, treating each object like alien technology he was encountering for the first time. His hands moved constantly. His eyes darted around the room, taking in everything, like it was all new and terrifying and wonderful. One of the producers opened his mouth to say something, but Garry Marshall raised his hand. "Stop. Let him go." Robin rolled out of the chair, stood up, and started using the entire room. He walked along the wall like gravity worked sideways on his planet. He pressed his hands against the window and stared out at the Paramount lot like he was seeing Earth from space. Every movement was committed, physical, completely unhinged, but somehow making perfect sense. He created an entire language on the spot. Mork calling Orson, Shazbot. Earth beings have strange custom. They sit on furniture with gravity downward. Very inefficient. The gibberish words meant nothing, but the emotion and physical comedy communicated everything. You understood exactly what this alien was experiencing. For 4 minutes, Robin Williams became Mork. Not the Mork from the script, not the safe, sitcom alien that 50 other actors had performed. This was something else entirely. This was an alien who experienced Earth with childlike wonder and complete confusion, who saw our normal world as utterly bizarre. And it was hilarious. Robin never stopped moving, never broke character, never repeated himself. Every joke, every physical bit, every gibberish phrase was different, spontaneous, built on the moment before. The producers weren't having side conversations anymore. They were leaning forward, some of them smiling, some of them with their mouths literally hanging open. When Robin finally finished, climaxing with Mork trying to shake hands with his own reflection in the window, the room went completely silent. Robin stood there, breathing hard, sweat on his forehead, not sure if he'd just nailed it or completely destroyed his career. Garry Marshall stood up slowly. He looked at Robin for a long moment. Then he turned to his producers and said, "Can everyone leave except Robin?" The other producers filed out, some of them still stunned. When the door closed, Marshall walked around the table and sat on the edge of it, facing Robin. "That was the weirdest audition I've seen in 30 years. Robin's heart sank. Weird. There it was again. But then Marshall smiled. It was also the best. Forget one episode. We're building you a series. Robin blinked. What? That character, what you just did, that's not a one-episode guest star. That's a lead. We're going to spin you off. Your own show. Mork from Happy Days gets his own series. Marshall stood up and extended his hand. If you want it. Robin shook his hand, still not fully processing what was happening. Yes, I want it. Good. We start writing tomorrow. The Happy Days episode airs in February. If the writings are good, and they will be, Mork Mindy premieres in September. Marshall opened the door, then paused. And Robin, don't ever let anyone tell you you're too weird for television. Weird is what we've been missing. Robin walked out of that building in a daze. He sat in his Toyota in the Paramount parking lot for 20 minutes, just staring at the steering wheel. Then he called Joni from a payphone. I think I just got my own TV show. Joni screamed so loud he had to hold the phone away from his ear. The Happy Days episode where Mork first appeared aired on February 28, 1978. It was the highest-rated episode of the season, pulling in 60 million viewers. ABC ordered Mork Mindy into production immediately. The show premiered on September 14, 1978, and became an instant cultural phenomenon. It was the third highest-rated show on television that year. Robin Williams went from sleeping on a floor in San Francisco to being recognized everywhere he went, overnight. But here's what made Mork and Mindy different from every other sitcom on television. The writers couldn't keep up with Robin. During the first table read, Robin improvised so much that the script became irrelevant. The writers looked at each other, looked at the producers, and someone made a decision that changed television writing forever. They started leaving blank spaces in scripts with a simple note, Robin riffs here. Entire scenes would be written as, Mork enters, Robin does his thing for 90 seconds, Mindy reacts. Robin would improvise different material for every take, and the editors would have hours of footage to choose from. It was chaos. It was unprecedented, and audiences loved it. Mork and Mindy ran for 4 seasons. It launched Robin Williams into superstardom, led to his film career, and proved that television didn't have to be safe to be successful. The show's impact went beyond ratings. It showed networks that weird could work, that unpredictable could work, that giving creative freedom to performers could create something special. Years later, in a 2006 interview, Garry Marshall was asked about that audition. "I'd seen thousands of auditions in my career. Most actors try to give you what they think you want. Robin gave us what we didn't know we needed. He showed us that the rules we'd been following, safe, predictable, family-friendly, were limiting us. That audition changed how I thought about television." The casting director, Marcia, who'd initially told Robin he was too weird for family television, sent him a letter after Mork Mindy's first season. Robin kept it in his office for the rest of his life. It said, "I was wrong. You weren't too weird for television. Television was too boring for you. Thank you for proving me wrong." But here's the part of the story most people don't know. After Robin became famous, after Mork and Mindy was a hit, he went back to the Holy City Zoo in San Francisco, the little 78-person club where he'd bombed and struggled and questioned whether he should quit. He performed there unannounced. No press, no publicity. Just Robin Williams on that tiny stage doing comedy for 30 people. The owner asked him why. "You're a TV star now. Why come back here?"
Robin said, "Because this place never told me to be less weird. It let me figure out who I was. I need to remember that."
Today, there's a plaque at the Paramount Studios lot where Robin auditioned. It's in the hallway outside the casting offices. It reads, "In this room in 1977, Robin Williams sat in a chair upside down and changed television history. Weird wins." If this story about staying true to yourself, about how being different is your greatest strength, moved you, make sure to subscribe and hit that like button. Share this with someone who's been told they're too much, too weird, too different. Have you ever been told to tone yourself down, only to succeed by being exactly who you are? Let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to ring that notification bell for more incredible true stories about the misfits, the weirdos, and the rule breakers who changed the world by refusing to fit in.